Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Barndo. Tonight I've got to recap Aussie Addicts versus One Hive and Victor CWL quarterfinals. You can see the result there, 83 to 80. Percentage-wise, 93 to 73. What's interesting, the reason I'm leaving on the open screen is you can see there we fought them 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago. And the results are really close to what they were last time. You see we got 0.23% less. They got 0.06% more, 1 point less. So very close to what happened last time. We can go through some stats. Where are we? You can see Dave there left on 1 star. Last time we had 2 of our Town Hall 11s left on 1. It was a really brutal finishing war. There was fails everywhere, both sides. We did get 1 Town Hall 10v10 on Aussie Addicts side to 0 on the opponents, but where it was, you can see there 3 fails on our Town Hall 11s hitting down, and there was 3 fails on One Hive and Victor's 11s. Big percentages, just there was a 66 on Dave. They actually were going for I think a 3-star attack there, and that sort of stuffed up. So overall, very brutal finish. Finished at 7 AM for us was a pretty rough time, but that's kind of what it is. You can see there we had we were beaten quite easily. Actually, probably flogged at Town Hall 9. Invicta bringing the 9s, giving themselves a shitload of opens. They had 10 Town Hall 9 versus 10 attack opens. Whereas we had 5, but we ended up having to use 3 Town Hall 10s to hit down. And what was pretty average about that was we did actually have a Town Hall 10v9 hit down fail. So we're a human clan. You know, we're out there, we're competing, we're having a good crack every single week. But we can fail like any other clan. What we were lucky with in the end was the Town Hall 10 versus 11. That's where this game, I think, was won and lost. Very much the same as 2 weeks ago. You can see lots of fresh hit 6-packs to One Hive and Victor in our team. We need to analyse this, and we need to really pick our shit up if we expect to be able to have a chance at winning any further. We're in the top 4 now. It's pretty exciting stuff. Top 4 out of CWL Season 2 Rising. There was a couple bases there with 3 defends to clear it and 4 as well. So one of those was a hit down, though 18 there was a hit down. So really in the end, pretty proud of my team overall all season. We've had some people start with us at the start of the season. I mean, this is 3 months we're talking about. It is like a sport. It's an e-sport. And it's 3 months. Then to get finals, you're looking at 3 to 4 months by the end of it. Just looking at defence here, you see that was a fresh hit, 58% there from Tits. Second hit, 70% from Boss. I'm going to actually show that recap. Don't show many of them, but that deserves a replay. And here it took us 5 attacks on Big Alex. What was funny about that base was lower defence Town Hall 11, and it took us 5 attacks. We did 4 ground and then thought, nah, stuff this, not going to work. Went to Dragons and knocked it off 58%. So it was a bit of internal analysing the base wrong there. You see here 4, 4, 6. So what it was, they used 13 Town Hall 10 attacks and only got 2 results out of those. So struggled there and gave themselves 3 attempts at getting Town Hall 10v10s before they finally said, nah, stuff this. So where are we? Let's have a look there, number 2. Boss's attack on this. He actually ran the clock out. It's not often we get to run out of clock on a Town Hall 10 versus 11, but he's gone with a nice solid queen walk. This was mapped out by Tits. So Tits did a 1-hit 2-star on number 1, big hit, and only got the 1-star on this, but mapped out and set Boss up to be able to succeed with a big massive 70% on this. So that actually meant that we got a 62% average across the Town Hall 11s, and anyone doing it knows that the percentage there, it's important. It's better than 50. It's better than 52. But the queen walk on this pathing was absolutely amazing. You can see she does a lot of work. Those healers there, they don't get stuck on that air defense, so that was nice. And you can see just working through the spells here, working through the base, and all up a really great attack. So a lot of patience, a lot of making sure the wall breakers were put in at the right spot. You can see the enemy warden there. That's going to start doing a lot of damage. He's going to need to end up using another rage eventually once he gets inside there. But just patience taken with it. I'll speed that up. So yeah, great war for us. Really, really exciting. Where is it we had? It was 8 Town Hall 9 fresh hits for us, 13 for Invictus. So like I said, they absolutely flogged us there. We did have 6 hits that were in the 90% plus range, so a bit of a heartbreaker for those. And of course the one Town Hall 10v10. So in the end it was 5. We got 5 6-packs on our 9. So there was a lot of people doing work. Now you see here he's going into his second phase. Golem, Valks, King, holds on to the rage a little bit longer than what I thought he could have. Probably could have used a little bit sooner. But those Valks, they just go in there and they do some absolute work. Now, the healers did swap off his Queen, which therefore meant those Valks got it in midfield. Probably meant he got a little bit less percentage than what he could have got. If those healers had stayed on that Queen, he would have kept going with that Queen, but then, of course, ran out of time anyway. So 70%, big hit, absolutely game changer at the time. We had a really solid early to mid phase, but then we petered off at the end and we had a hit down fail from one of our Town Hall 11s, but then they had 2 fails, so it was kind of, it was that hard slug war, you know. So we'll have a look here at Player Wahard. That's one of our Town Hall 3s, doesn't get in every week. This was the 3rd Town Hall 10 Tier 4 base, Queen Walk with a bowler, centre push, and a few hogs for a tail phase there. Now you can see the Queen starts the walk. That was key to the raid, and then the Golem 14 bowlers was it with the Clan Castle bowlers. So heavy amount of bowlers, 19 bowlers, 2 jump, 2 rage, heal, 4 the core, and the Queen just 4 healers and the ability to go around the outside there. You see Jimmy Bob there saves that rage to get to that second Inferno, and you can see just a few defences down the bottom. In the end, those hogs weren't really needed. So 8 hogs, 40 unit space, but you can see that Queen, she was always going to walk around to that. So it took us a bit of time, a bit of thinking to get there, but you can see in the end the result, the 3-star raid, and it was absolutely heart-pumping. This shit is hard work. All season, we've worked hard to be able to get the opportunities to get into this 10v10 action, and we're loving it. It does help making sure that you get the Town Hall 11s cleared out first. We're going to look now. I've got 4 replays to show for the 9s. Where are we? Let's look at Manlet. So we only did have the 8 fresh hits, so it wasn't a hardcore war for us. We need to make sure we're getting our 9s, pulling fingers out, so to speak. And the more Town Hall 10 opens you get, the easier you're making it for your 11s. And we all know that's the money shot. That's what's going to lose your war for you. Is your 9s can't win the war, they can definitely lose it. Unfortunately, the more they help to make the Town Hall 11's life easier, the better. So you see here Manlet going in with a stoned go boho. Pretty easy there. Gets the heroes in the midfield. 26, 27 heroes. Still needs to smash out a few more hero levels there. Old Manlet getting a bit slack. Really good hero phase. You see Jimmy Bob there through the midfield, just tanking long enough for the Queen and the bowlers to keep clearing that trash buildings around the outside there. Hogs coming in to clean up. They were dry, so the hogs, there was no heals for the hogs. Golems in midfield there managing to come through in the end and tank. That helps. The Queen was always going to be tanked for there. So you see the hogs, double giant bomb. I'm sure I've seen this base, whether it was the last time we fought them 2 weeks ago. I just remembered those 2 giant bombs before that Archer Tower. Yeah, I mean, when you fight a team 2 weeks, twice within 2 weeks, it makes that base building, everything that bit harder. You've got to make sure you've got some fresh bases out, and it just makes it all that bit harder. So definitely a bit of a rivalry there going into the war. We fought One Hive Invicta to make sure we got into the finals in the first place. Invicta still got in there through the system setup, and they sort of were keen to return the win and force us out to show that, you know, it was a bit unlucky on their last attempt, but we were lucky enough to hold on there in a hard-fought war. So for us, for Aussie Addicts, we go through next week to fight, I think it's Forbidden in the semi-finals. if we get that, we can make a grand final. And I mean, as the leader of the gang, Brum Brum, I kind of think, you know, we were always after having more wins and losses going into season 2, but we've just managed to gel. We've had our Town Hall 11s give us the good push all season by generally having good succeeds, good hit down rates, and our 10s have managed to pick up the game along the way, the 10 versus 11s and the 10v10 action, and we've got just as much chance as anyone else going in there. And like anyone else, it's all open. The field's open. That's what I love about Clash, about competitive Clash, about fair play, about the whole system is you try and get in there, you have 2 good, fair teams, and you have a good crack. And you see here now, Carnage on James. It was a real ballsy attack. You can see the air defences up the top were set up with those 2 lots of 2. And the Queen actually walked down to go and get the Wizard Towers, the Archer Towers. You can see there was a Troll Tesla at 9 o'clock there. And the Queen, luckily enough, finishing up towards the Tesla farm. But still enough kick in that air phase to be able to get through there to the majority of it. But the Queen finishing on that Tesla farm. So great base read. Very ballsy attack to send the Queen in there on that corner. And old Carnage was the only one of us in AA to get the fresh 6-pack opening. So both fresh hits. Whereas, I mean, on one hive side, they had Wolverine, Wise, and Manhole, and Armour. Armour, I think it is, hitting fresh 6-packs, 4 of them. So some pretty amazing hitting power there from their Town Hall 9s. But, I mean, anyone in the high-end game, it'll be interesting to see how these new defences coming out in these updates are going to be. We're talking a round of cannons, a round of Archer Towers, a round of Infernos, level 4 Infernos doing more damage. It'll be really interesting to see how that's going to affect gameplay. My feeling is they're trying to make it more 10v10 and more 11v11. So in that case, it'll be the fact that you're looking at 10v11s are quite hard at the moment with decent builds. You're seeing teams waste a massive number of hits on those bases, therefore reducing or eliminating altogether the chance at 10v10. So you may see sides go, stuff this, we're just going to be going 10v10. You're going to see new spam armies coming open again with the miners getting buffs and level 3, and it's going to be an interesting change to the system. So CWL, they've agreed to not gem timers for the remainder of this season's finals. That was a pretty big call. It's good, making sure we're not worried about people gemming and having a disadvantage and then being forced to on-gem as well. So it's going to be, all about the finals being the teams that are there, and really exciting 2 final weeks. We did have a couple of streamers this week. Rorik, whose team was knocked out, and then Dash, of course, from Down Under, came in and they cross-streamed a bit. So, if you get a chance next week, we'll be streaming again. Jump on board, fly the flag. Overall, really exciting war. You can see the war events at the end there. Nanda knocking off Tiger Hood. I think that was the same base as the previous one, and we didn't get it last time, and we definitely didn't get it this time. But you can see there the hit on Dave at the end. Fat Joey Tiger Hood managing to get the 2-star 50%. I didn't watch that raid, but you can see a couple of big fails there at the end. They did have a couple of cracks at 10v10s, but in the end, really good win to us. It was rewarding as a leader to have it, to sort of say we didn't make it by luck to get into the finals. We earned our spot, and there's been a lot of big teams knocked out. It's everyone's ball game. So that's my wrap up for the week. Really looking forward to next week's War versus Forbidden. We'll just have a look at here. Where are we? Warlog. We faced them 50 days ago. You see down the bottom here, 49 days. Forbidden. They beat us by a star. Had a lot of respect for this team. They deserved a bigger win than the 1 star at the time from memory. They were a really good side. So it should be a good war on the weekend.
Yeah, where you from? Who the boss? I'ma break it off. Yeah, where you from? Who the boss? Let me break it off. I'm a monster in this